Okay, so real life example of a standard operating procedure. Again, I'll give you one from school. So one of the things I do in school is I'm in charge of e-safety, which basically means that I make sure that everyone's safe in school when they're online and do all the training. That's what you'll be used to, sort of assemblies that I've done. But it's also about having policies for staff and making sure that staff are doing things in the right way and things like that as well. So here's an example as part of that of a standard operating procedure that we have around that. So we might find that there's been some sort of illegal incident relating to things happening online. So maybe someone accesses something inappropriate or illegal online. Now, if that happens, staff have to follow this standard operating procedure in this flow chart here. And it's really important that it's carried out the same way every time, because some of these things, especially with it being something that could be potentially breaking the law, might need us to provide evidence to the police later on or something like that. There might be some sort of investigation that follows. So we have to make sure we've done things in the right way so that we've got all of that evidence and we've made sure that people are safe and things like that. So I'll not go through the whole thing, but just to give you an idea, we'd first of all look to see, is it inappropriate or is it illegal materials? Well, if it's unsuitable, then we'll report it to pastoral staff using our behaviour tracker system. And I'll also be copied in. So whoever's reporting it sends me a copy of what they've sent to pastoral staff. I'll review the incident to decide what the appropriate course of action is, putting sanctions in place if necessary, and then it goes on depending on what happens next. On the other side of things, if illegal materials are found, then illegal activity or content, if the child is immediately at risk, so someone in school is in danger, then it'll be reported straight away to the DSL, or Online Safety Coordinator, and that'll also be reported to CEOP where it's appropriate, so that's a child exploitation online police force. If it's illegal activity but there's no immediate risk, it'll just be reported to the designated safeguarding lead and also to Children's Services. If it's a staff or a volunteer, then the same thing happens. And then if there's any evidence, that has to be preserved and secured, and then we await a response from the police or whoever, and so on. So like I say, I'll not go through the whole chart, but it just shows you that this gives staff the exact route that they need to take depending on what the situation is. So this is an example of a standard operating procedure. So it's exactly what it says there. It's a step-by-step guide that should be carried out in an organisation, and staff follow the same steps as each other every time to make sure it's consistent and it gets the right results. And it is difficult. It's hard if something's happening and you've had something reported like that, using my example, to remember to do things in the right way. And that's why we have the flow chart, so that staff can look at that and make sure that they are doing things in the correct way each time.